And it says we're live.
Yeah, it lies.
Yeah.
All right.
Uh, do your thing.
Oh yeah, the thing. Um, if you'd like to support the Blanket Fort, please donate here. We need money so that we can drive no more than 8 hours before finding a motel that's not a Motel 6.
God.
Yeah. If you like coffee, and trust me, after this weekend, we love Zessar coffee. Buy it here. Let them know you heard about it here. The geisha and the Blanket Fort are fantastic. You need to order a couple bags.
Yes, definitely.
Oh,
yeah, not enough caffeine in the bloodstream this
no
morning.
kidding.
And my traveling range is 700 miles.
8 hours.
Yeah, I can do 10, but
8 hours.
I can't get that far. Lexington, Kentucky was a 2-day trip for me, which sucks.
Lexington or Louisville?
Louisville, wherever the hell we went.
I had to check.
Great hosting with Tom and Robin. Thank you very much.
God. Tom and Robin, they are fantastic hosts, folks.
Yeah. Hey, Richard, see you made it home. Hopefully in better shape than us.
Hey, Richard.
Yeah. It is out. It is live as a book. They didn't screw this one up.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Yeah. Lexington, silk Confederate flags. Louisville, cotton Confederate flags. Yes. The trips, both directions were interesting
or exhausting.
Versions of interesting. See, what can I say? Not get myself in trouble here. Screw it. Yeah, I can imagine, Sean. Paternity leave, you were exhausted. Yeah, you'll be exhausted for the next year. Hey, Carlton. But, you know, all the planning in the world sometimes just goes left on you. And I made the mistake of going into Illinois at Cairo, crossing the Mississippi, and went, the hell?
I'm a felon.
Yeah, I was a felon. So I bail off at the first exit, and there's a trooper sitting there.
Oh.
And I turn to go across to come back toward safety and Missouri, and there's another trooper sitting on the on-ramp. And as I turn to the on-ramp, I see his reverse lights flash, and I'm going, oh, damn.
Shit, I'm going to jail.
Yeah. But he did not come after me. I managed to get back into Missouri. And I pulled off very quickly and went, the hell do I go? How do I get? I can't do that. I got to go to Kentucky. So I punch in Paducah, Kentucky, and it gives me a route. I start following. For those of you that are familiar with 2-lane roads in the country, there are no shoulders. And I got behind a 32-row planter for 10 miles.
At 23 miles an hour.
No, at 10 miles. And I finally got into Kentucky. And people had said, oh, take the Western Kentucky Parkway. It's very scenic. If you like trees, guardrails.
And trees.
Trees and construction and a friggin' lighthouse in Center City, Kentucky.
It was dark by the time we went through there. I didn't see shit.
It's like, the hell? So finally get through all that mess and get on 65, which is a straight run up to Lexington or Louisville. It's like, yeah, interstate. Yeah. Really? A Ford van had broken down in the construction zone with the cabling on one side and Jersey barrier on the other. And I'm sitting there.
One van wide.
And I'm sitting there. And I'm sitting there. Central City is only food about 100 miles. Oh, between Campbell and Louisville twice a week. Yeah. You made the better move, Tom. Trust me. So I'm texting Ian going, I don't know where the hell y'all are, but I'm sitting in traffic.
I don't know where the hell we were at all.
Finally, one of the work trucks came and apparently pulled this guy out of the zone because we finally started moving. And I get up there and there's this construction truck. Hello, Courtney.
We are Courtney enabled. Well, mostly.
Mostly. It's mostly Courtney.
So get up there and this guy's unhooking this beat up Ford van and finally get up to Louisville. And it's like, oh, I made it. Thank goodness I made it. Well, coming back,
We had no problems getting there.
I decided I was going to take a chance, made a speed run through Illinois, got through St. Louis. In St. Louis, traffic was traffic. And I'm poking along, and I see this old Honda Civic with a weird looking antenna sticking out the window. And I'm looking at this thing, and I keep inching up, and I finally get up by it, and it looks like a over-the-air TV antenna. Yes.
Okay.
And I get up about another car length forward, and I look in, and this Honda has one of those little color TVs that they have molded into the center dashboard. And they're sitting there watching TV.
The doing, 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 doing.
Yeah. And I went, I'm getting around these people and getting somewhere else. And then I screwed up, to be very, very honest. I got about 2 hours south of St. Louis, where you start going through the hills on 44 in Missouri. And I'm running fairly quickly. And hey, it starts
I didn't say anything.
getting a little darker. And I'm at the bottom of the hill, starting to go up the next hill. And I'm, yeah, less distracting than a cell phone. I come up the hill, and I'm watching this tractor trailer probably 500 yards in front of me, and it wiggled. That's the only way I know to describe it. It just wiggled. And then the son of a bitch disappeared. And, you know, when you're in the zone, it's like, yeah, whatever. Okay, that was odd. And then all my lights flickered and went to full dark mode. And then I realized it's black. And then it hit me. Weather.
Ran right at a squall line, didn't you?
As I went into a squall line, and I could see maybe 50 feet. And I got moved over a lane, and I could kind of see the white line, and the windshield wipers are giving it hell and not
Not doing a damn thing.
not doing enough to get the water off. And I got down to about 35 or 40 miles an hour. It's like, do I stay here? Do I try to move back over? The hell do I do? And I just kept chugging along and looking and praying I did not see any red lights in front of me. After about 3 miles, it cleared up. And it was like, okay, I'm awake now. But other than that,
we went down. There are two. Google, if you put avoid communism, I'm sorry, avoid Illinois in your Google Maps, it gave us two ways, and they were about 10 minutes difference either way.
Yeah.
One was 82 across, and another was dropped down to 30. So we thought, what the hell? We dropped down to 30. Went up to Memphis, and we visited a childhood friend of Rita's in Memphis for a bit. And then we decided we were going to take a scenic highway up to, Yeah, a Tennessee Scenic Highway up to 64, whatever that center highway in Kentucky is.
Yeah.
Did not realize that paper maps these days are an afterthought.
Yeah.
Folks, I'm here to tell you that paper maps in the 2020s might not be as accurate as one would hope, because between the paper map and GPS, it was a scenic highway. If you wanted to see an example of every stop sign and every traffic light over the last 150 years, you would see it on that scenic highway.
Yeah.
And we get to the end, and we can see 64. It's right there, just there. And there's a detour. And it was a right turn, and a right turn, and a right turn, and a left turn. And we're looking at each other going, what the hell? Wound up going by a guy with Nike swooshes drawn on his bare feet. I swear to God. And this scenic highway turned into basically a neighborhood dirt road.
Yeah. I've been over one of those before.
So we finally hit 64, and I am knackered. Rita is knackered. We are tired, and it's like, okay, this is an interstate. I know how interstates work. I know, apparently not in Kentucky. I don't.
Well, it's Western Kentucky Parkway. It wasn't an interstate.
It was supposed to be I-64 or 65. One of those. Interstate.
No.
And the interstate wide on the map, the paper map, which you don't trust. Yes, 64. So, and it would Y, and 64 would go off in a gentle curve this way, and I-24 would go off in a gentle curve that way. And I told Rita, this is my bad, my fault. I told Rita, don't worry about it. It'll be clearly marked where the Y is. So we're driving along, and Rita says, honey, says we're going to Nashville. I said, well, yes, because, I am stupid. I said, yes, and we're on the 64-24 combination. It does end up in Nashville somewhere. Yeah. And we're going, and we're going, and we're going, and we're going. Happy as clams at high tide. Very sleepy clams. And I suddenly went, wait a minute. I fucking smell Fort Campbell. What the fuck? Pull over! And damned, we were on 24 and been on 24 for a considerable period of time.
Yep.
Oops.
Yeah. Little did he know it was not clearly marked. He is correct.
Yeah. So we had a series of experiences that some of us are not planning on repeating.
So Courtney and I drove to Imaginarium, and then Courtney and I drove back and picked up a car in Kentucky, the wilds thereof, and then drove home. And that was our trip.
That was it.
Obviously, they did a better job than we did. And obviously, they weren't carrying anything they had to worry about.
Yeah. The reason why we're avoiding Illinois is I don't want Rita to have a felony record, because apparently
Yes.
the People's Democratic Republic of Illinois, if you have a firearm loaded or otherwise in the passenger compartment, doom on you.
Yeah.
And the quickest way was through the People's Democratic Republic of Illinois. And so I got online and started checking with people and with lawyers. And apparently, if you have your guns unloaded in a locked box, locked in the trunk, you're okay. So I have ordered a lockbox from Amazon, because we're going to visit the Rognabees again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I am not spending 17 hours on the road to get there. So we will stop at St. Louis, somewhere safe, put all of our guns.
Stop before you get to St. Louis.
No, I'm not going through St. Louis unarmed. I don't give a damn.
Well, you're screwed, because you immediately go from St. Louis across the river to Illinois.
I will park on the bridge, and we will put all the guns in the lockbox. We will drive through Illinois, and we will stop, flip off Illinois, and get our guns back.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Sean. Yeah, my problem was I not only had it in the passenger compartment, I had it on my belt.
We had X number of guns in the passenger compartment and one on me.
Yeah, but I did stop in Tulsa, and Brian Nad was good enough to come meet me yesterday morning. We had a nice little chat. Then I made it back here and stocked up on food. And oh, by the way, I always forget something. This trip was even worse because I forgot my back spasm medication.
Oh,
Ooh.
no wonder you were grouchy.
Yeah, so I was grouchy all weekend, and I missed all the fun stuff because 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours of sitting on friggin' conference chairs, and I was done.
Yeah, that's not fun.
Jason asked, Ian, are you covered by Leosa? No, because in order to be covered by Leosa, you have to retire in good standing. And I think everybody here knows I did not retire in good standing.
Yet.
Yes.
We're working on that. He's never going to sign off on a Leosa thing for me. That's all there is to that.
Rick, I know, but I swore I had them in the bag until I got there, and they weren't in the bag.
We need to have one. All of us have emergency kits of everybody's medications.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're good.
Should
I
we
will
get
say,
to?
Jim, something I noticed, even though you were grumpy and not feeling so good, you have such a skill socializing with people. You really do. I mean, you can talk to anybody. And I was like, by the second half of the second day, I was like, get away from me. And you were happily, cheerfully chatting away with folks. I'm like, how does he do that?
Because I have to.
Well, I mean, but you're really good at it. So.
Yeah.
The lockbox is federal law for people traveling through unfree states. State LEO may harass and or SU. Fuck.
Yeah, Illinois is notorious for that, as a number of people have pointed out over the years. On a brighter note, Larry put up a post, I think, on Facebook.
I have very little Facebook to use.
Yeah, talking about characters and authors and talking about authors. And Larry's point was a lot of these big name authors, nobody ever mentions their character names. Well,
I did see that.
with Larry, everybody knows his characters.
Yes, they do.
And I got to think about it, and the number of people that comment on my characters by name. So I must be doing something right.
Mm-hmm.
Of course you are.
Yeah,
Of course you are.
I try.
Jim managed to talk to me without growling, usually.
Well, Julian, I have my good days. I have my bad days.
As far as Imaginarium goes, we have different opinions on the con. As far as I'm concerned, the attendees were fantastic. The people going there were great. The people attending were great. I didn't sit in on any literary track panels, which were apparently a massive clusterfuck. I sat in a lot of the nuts and bolts panels. And like I said, the people attending were fantastic. Really good, really open with knowledge, very free with knowledge. The con staff, on the other hand, need to be beat with sticks. I will be going back, mainly because of the sheer amount of wheat I got out of the chaff was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Carlton, send me your friggin' address so I can send you a copy of Vignette signed, damn it. That was the one you did not get at LibertyCon.
I did 2 panels and got yanked onto the third. The literary panels, if the rest of them were what we got a title, and that was it. The first one I did was, the title was "You Thrill Me." So I show up at the panel. It's me. I show up a little early so I make sure the exit doors work. That people got bug-eyed about that. Sorry. So I'm pacing behind because it's me. I'm pacing. And the guy comes up and says, are you a panelist? I said, yeah. He said, me too. Well, what's this panel about? And I said, I think it's about putting stress beats into scenes in your work. He said, oh, okay. And then a third guy walked up and said, are you two panelists? And we said, yeah. He said, what's this about? I said, we're not sure. He said, I think it's about writing thrillers. I was like, okay. So we polled the audience. Half the audience thought it was there to learn how to write a thriller novel. The other half thought it was there to learn how to put thrills and chills into your action scenes. And one poor lonely guy thought it was there to write erotica. He left.
I will invoke the old military clause. If I can't say anything nice, don't say anything.
I got yanked onto the True Grit panel. Hillbilly yanked my ass onto, well, this Hillbilly and somebody else yanked my butt onto it was basically how to write a Western or writing Westerns. And that, as far as I know, that was a really good panel. Everybody thought it was a fantastic panel. The last one was forensics for writers, police forensics for writers. Way too many people on the panel. They had 7 bodies on there, and there wasn't enough time for everybody. There one poor guy on there never got to actually say anything because you had me, and I was nervous, so I was being me.
But everybody on the panel did ask you questions, which was great.
Well, apparently, the folks in Middle America have never heard the term murder hobos before. So, I said, they said, how do you get your information? I said, I want you to memorize this line. I said, I want you to memorize, hi, I'm an author. Can I buy you a coffee and don't look like a murder hobo?
I'm laughing at Sarah's comment. Poor erotica guy wanted to shoot the thrill. There was a misunderstanding.
There was a misunderstanding. He left.
Yeah.
The poor dear. Well, they had some hiccups with their registration and their lines, but the people there that were writing it were genuinely pleasant.
Yeah, they were just didn't know what they were doing. The program was a mess.
Yeah, they needed to be They needed a copy editor for that.
Well, and they did things like on the webpage and in the program, it said registration started at 9:30. When you got there at 9:30, oh, sorry, registration for vendors starts at 9:30. Registration for everybody else starts at 11:30 with your first panel at noon.
Mm-hmm. They needed some clarification, and I'm sure they're getting some feedback on that. And hopefully, they iterate better for next year.
Yeah, Richard, I remember you mentioning that when I asked the staff about a panel description summary. They thought it was a novel idea.
Well,
they're in their 10th year.
Well, and that's the thing of it is I was under the impression that they were a big con before COVID, 1,500 people. Apparently, I was mistaken. The 400 they had today, or when we were there, was the biggest con they've ever had. It's like, oh. And the issue is, I made the mistake. Actually, he made the mistake. My first ever con was LibertyCon.
Mm-hmm.
So I view all cons through the lens of LibertyCon, which is a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
You've got, cons are run by enthusiastic volunteer amateurs who aren't getting paid for that stuff. So to judge everything by LibertyCon is a mistake. And I went into start out judging by LibertyCon. They have issues, but I can overlook the issues because of the quality contacts I made.
Yay, Sarah. She's got a ticket to LibertyCon.
Woohoo!
Yes.
Yeah, we made quality contacts, and we got about 28 baby authors.
Yeah, super.
And the thing about this one was the average attendee was considerably younger than. Yeah, I only saw one mobility scooter, which is weird for convention.
Yeah, I could have done without the dope smokers out in front of the hotel.
Ooh,
you told me about that. That was okay.
There were a couple that walked by, and I'm like, oh, hello.
I didn't realize.
One of them, the one with the pink hair,
Mm-hmm.
he's a lawyer.
Apparently, was struck up a torpedo right in front of the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
didn't realize that
started going out the back door to smoke.
Smoking weed in public was legal in Kentucky because, well.
Yeah, LibertyCon 2024 is already sold out.
That was so funny. I went to the little sofa pit we took over for use by Friendly Forces. I was talking to Jim, and I said, that Tully had gotten our tickets, and he got big-eyed, said, I forgot. I took off at a dead run. It's like, oh.
I get ticket 1082. So I made it in under the wire.
There you go. It's not. Jeff Coe, police just have better things to do. Because apparently, according to him, I didn't notice it.
Yeah.
My police sense must be always shut off. Apparently, there were two of them smoking fatties out front without a care in the world.
Oh, at least two.
Oh, wow.
And I think a certain author might have been joining in.
They were rather fragrant.
Which author? Not
The
me.
one I was talking about with you earlier.
After this is over, you're going to have to narrow it down quite a bit.
Yeah, never mind. But did get a chance to see a few friends, Richard, Tom
Tom and Robin.
and
Sweet
Robin,
people.
number of other folks.
Made some new friends.
Yeah.
I hope.
I was the butt of a few jokes thanks to Hillbilly, which does not surprise me.
Hillbilly's good people.
His wife is a pearl. She is.
Oh, word witch.
Yeah.
I understand what keeps that man's squirrels headed in the right direction because his squirrels are almost as bad as mine. He's just louder about it.
Which is impressive, actually. No, I like the word, but she's awesome.
And the kid is
The minion.
the minion
Yeah.
is great.
She's learning the hard way.
Hillbilly sent video clips of us. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes, he did. That was adorable.
I was not part of any of those.
I didn't know a thing about it until Cedar just said something.
You were in the room. He asked for a prompt for the postcards, and he sent it to Cedar via video clip. And he had all of us in the room. So we miss you.
Uh,
You were there for it, but I don't think you thought that he was doing it.
yeah. But writing is interesting. And I did talk to some folks that obviously don't interact well with the normal public.
Why you gonna put me out in the open like that?
Well, there was one young lady that a gent was leering over, and I will be polite,
I body checked a couple of folks.
that we kind of moved him along a little bit, and she kind of looked up and blinked and went, "What's going on?" I was just like, "Oh my God, lady!"
There was a gentleman there who wore autism headphones and had the nasty habit of taking over panels from the audience. And there was a young lady that was talking to us about writing, and he showed up and, dude, unhook your eyes from cleavage.
Yeah.
So he wanted to get body checked out of the way.
Yeah, that was that was the subject of a conversation at breakfast that Alyssa was actually involved in, because we were talking about not being able to hear
No kidding.
and the effect, especially for guys like me that have no audio in female ranges, the effect of the masking
Hmm.
and the fact that I have to look most people in the face to be able to understand what they're saying. Well, it's, fine when they're standing up, but if they're sitting down and you're looking down at them, other things come into view.
There are peripheral things.
Mhm.
And you're doing your damnedest not to
Lear,
peer at the other items
lear.
and keep focused on the lips that are moving.
Yeah, I had to
But it's sometimes an embarrassing situation.
put a shoulder into that guy a couple of times.
Signal to noise ratio. Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Signal to noise ratio and 3 to 8,000 hertz. Yes, Alyssa, your pitch goes up, and as it goes up, it goes out of my hearing range, and I am
And
sitting
Alyssa
there
was there.
seeing.
Yeah, Alyssa was there.
Yeah.
And I know there's been a couple of people. I'm okay in face to face or in a quiet room. Hello. I'm okay
The
face to
problem
face.
is when somebody's behind you
Or there's other noise in the background.
speaking with an equal voice.
Jonna, I think you have a visitor.
Okay.
I think I've freaked out Cedar, or I've made Cedar a couple of times. We'll be at Jim's house, and there'll be a lot of
Yeah.
noise going on, and I can't understand what she's. I'll be looking at her mouth, and I think that the first couple of times I did
Yeah.
that, it really freaked her out.
Yeah, RK, yours is another one that does cause problems.
Oh, she knew what I was doing. Sorry about that.
Like Tom, I can, however, hear quite well when she drops her voice half an octave and starts enunciating, starts that whole fight, flight reflex. Yes. Ah.
No, it was for as far as the contacts we made and I'm treating this as a first year ever con. I did learn that we need to get out in these regional cons a lot more
Mhm.
because I'm used to the places we've been. When we went to FenCon, everybody knew who Racketcher Press was. Liberty Con, oh for God's sake, everybody knew who Racketcher Press was. We walked into Imaginarium, nobody knew who we were.
Which was kind of fun.
It was
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. New
It was different.
prospects. Yay.
I like being the new kid on the block. No one knows what to expect from us, which is good. But yeah, we're babies. We still got the eggshell on the head.
Yeah.
We're working on that.
Well, I was, and I need to start introducing myself better. This lurking in the background's got to stop.
Yeah.
I was annoyed coming out of
That's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Well, came out of the award ceremony. I was annoyed. I was annoyed. The little award ceremony annoyed the crap out of me. And we're in the bar. And I'm sitting there just stewing my juices.
And it was frickin' rubber chicken again.
I saw that going.
Ugh.
And the lead guy for Jumpmaster Press was on my left, and Courtney and Cedar on my right, and they're talking, and I'm sitting there and just being the quiet observer. And they turned away, and he looked at me and said, "So what do you do for John and Courtney?" That was a bad time for him to ask me that. He now knows exactly what I do.
So is that why you were so grumpy? Because you were sitting there in the bar next to me, and it was like, he's very stabby. I'm going to keep him in
No,
the
I
corner.
was stabby because of the award ceremony.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
then he
A
did
bunch of
that.
us
It's
were.
like, okay. So I said, I
To
own
be
the
fair,
fucking
we're
company.
the first people he met,
I
and
know.
we were very excited.
We
I
were
know.
like all over with all kinds of details. Yeah.
because he's got some
I just
really
don't
exciting
realize
stuff going
how
on.
important you are to all this. I mean, it's
So-
like
I said, I own the fucking company. He went, chill. And then
But they were-
a baby author came by.
they were
And
military guys too. Sorry,
Yeah.
guys. There were
Yeah.
military guys running that. They were really fun to talk to.
so a baby author who did know me, and I finally realized was actually fangirling. And I had to, all right,
that
time
was
to.
Haley.
Yeah,
Haley was
Haley's
adorable.
adorable.
I love
Yeah,
Haley.
She's adorable. No, she's like, she loves all of us. She's like,
Mhm.
She's a
she was
sweetheart.
like the perfect gentleman of it. So it was really cute. It's like, but she's only 30. She's just a baby. So
She is, but she's got a path ahead of her.
yeah, she
Yes,
does.
I am glad
she
to
does.
see
She's
that.
good folk. So did you know she has a degree in political science?
Yeah.
Yeah, you knew that. I figured you probably already. You already talked to her. What am I telling you for?
So no, it's like it's I need to start introducing myself better because I went by his booth and looked at it and never told. And I realized afterwards I never told him who I was. Went by his booth and looked at it and took notes, asked some questions, and moved on because I don't ever introduce myself.
Yeah.
I need to stop that. That's going to be hard.
Mhm. We need to work on a public persona versus a private persona. It's easier to do.
Public.
Not by choice.
I don't know.
I do know that.
Neither one of us is doing this by choice.
Also, according to the live streaming or what was it, live or something for enhancing your brand. It's basically doing all this video stuff to enhance your brand. I went to that panel or that workshop. We're doing everything wrong.
Of course.
We're doing everything wrong.
Yeah, I've been used, and we have been used as the counter argument.
Yeah.
I have been on a panel where that was discussed,
Mhm.
and everybody pointed at me, and I went, "So everything we do is wrong.
Don't listen to us.
So don't listen to us. And if you do exactly the opposite of what we say, because then you've got a chance at succeeding."
Well, the thing is, you guys you guys have been building who you are online for 25 years, and people who've been doing it for 2 years don't have the background that you do.
Right.
So
And that's something I was telling the panel.
yeah, it's like you guys do it wrong, but you're doing a lot of the stuff that they're doing now 10,
Yeah,
15 years ago.
I told them I've spent, and Jim's probably almost as long. I spent 25 years laying the groundwork.
Yeah.
So, I went into this with 25 years of people knowing who I was and wanting to see me.
Yeah.
That was the big thing when we first started this is nobody ever saw my face.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember the past history of that.
If for those of you who don't know, when we first started this, I lurked off to the side.
Yeah.
Jim was the only face on the live stream because
We saw your blanket and your dogs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, until I retired in 2016, nobody saw my face.
I was telling them, I talked to the guys. There were a lot of, this was a multimedia con. There were a lot of filmmakers and some good filmmakers.
Yeah.
And a lot of podcasters that know their business and make money.
Yeah.
And they were saying, so how are you doing this? I said, what you don't understand is, I told them, I spent 25 years laying the groundwork for this.
Yeah.
They went in it fresh. Everybody knew who I was. Everybody's known Law Dog online since 1999.
Well, remember at LTUE when we got accused of cheating
Yes.
in that panel with Larry?
Yep.
That was
Yep.
friggin'
Yep.
hilarious. And I did a podcast Friday night with Pete Nealon
That was a good podcast. by the
and
way.
Kukla Presto and Mike Kapari, and I brought up the gamer from LTUE, and I thought Pete was going to stroke out trying to keep from laughing. But that was an interesting podcast because we talked a lot about writing and about the history of weapons. And it's amazing how little some authors understand about weapons. And they inevitably get it wrong.
Well, one of the things on the police forensics for authors, one of the things I was trying to say to many people on the panel was you're doing it wrong and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because if you write police forensics correctly, you'll bore your authors to death.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, police forensics is boring.
Yeah.
That's boring.
Now, the only good panel that I saw at Imaginarium was a movie armorer, who gave a panel on the correct guns. And there were two other armorers sitting in. So one of them was right behind me. So I'm getting secondary comments from him. And they all know each other. So it was going back and forth. But the interesting thing is how many of the weapons now used are totally non-firing.
Mm-hmm.
They're either battery powered
Or they're airsoft.
Huh?
Or modified airsoft.
or they're modified airsoft. And I was chatting with the guy prior to the panel, a gentleman named Silvio, and he's German. So came out of German Special Forces, knows what he's doing. Very good at it. And
Nancy probably knows him.
Huh?
Nancy probably knows him.
Yeah.
Silvio something.
Last name was Silvio. He's out of Louisville, Kentucky.
Hang on.
But we got talking about the different things that can go wrong and do go wrong. And we talked, the panel talked about, he talked about rust and his
Well,
perception.
You have to.
But the thing is, when you go back to prior to 2007, when Sternbridge was still in existence, most of the guns on sets were actual live weapons. And they used 5-in-1 blanks. Yeah, Nancy, you probably wouldn't know him because he's a fairly young guy. Yeah. But the interesting part was the difference between being an armorer and a technical.
Silvio Bush.
Yeah.
That's a bad name.
But the difference between being a technical expert and technical consultant and just an armorer is two entirely different perspectives on the way things are done.
Well, when John Eric Hickson offed himself
Yeah.
by accident on that TV show,
Yeah.
they started moving away.
Mm-hmm.
But the big one was Brandon Lee in
Yeah.
The Crow. And it was almost the exact same. It was a 44 Magnum revolver
Yeah.
with blanks.
Yeah.
Almost the same issue. And that was what finally kicked him away from actual live firearms.
But Silvio was saying that now a number of the productions do not want any live weapon of any type.
After
Everything.
Rush, I wouldn't blame him.
But that brings up now a question of how do you simulate recoil? Because even with a blank firing weapon or an airsoft that has a moving slide,
Mhm.
you're going to get recoil and you're going to see the actor react to that recoil.
Mhm.
And his comment was, yeah, simulate recoil with shock collars. That would that would probably work, Tom. But his comment was, that's going to be very hard for CGI to do.
Mhm.
Rick actually, he had a modified Glock there for muzzle flash. And there are two different ways to do it, which I did not know this. One way is forward out of the muzzle. The second way is you could actually stick the pistol into somebody's body, pull the trigger, and the muzzle flash, quote, quote, actually comes out the side. Two entirely different types of doing it.
There's those of you who have followed me for a long time know that I love modern pentathlon, military pentathlon. And I had a big rant when the military pentathlon in the Olympics went away from actual firearms.
Yeah.
Okay, military pentathlon is you have to ride a strange horse. You have to swim, 200-yard swim, 200-meter swim. You have to run cross country, sword fight, and pistol. That's the 5 in the modern pentathlon. The International Olympic Committee decided that, we need guns.
Yeah.
So they replaced the, first off, they went to air guns. And then what they've got now is a laser gun, a little laser zap gun.
Yeah.
And it's got a weighted slide and a CO2 thing so that it creates the recoil, because what everybody, and rightly so, people are pissed because the lasers don't have any sort of trajectory.
Yeah.
And they're instant. This
Point
is
and
not,
click.
this is not a pistol. So they went to this fancy little thing that simulates recoil, and it actually has a delay in firing the laser and everything to come as close to an actual firearm as possible.
Yeah.
So I imagine that Hollywood will take that same.
I love Tom. Sword fight and pistol shooting reaches for the Nagant and the Gladius. The one that pissed me off was Winter Olympics when they did away with shooting an actual military weapon,
Yes,
and they've got these super light 22s.
biathlon guns are.
Yeah. 10 times the cost of a 22 long rifle.
Well, and
And that was that, Rick. That's actually a good point. The other thing that Silvio brought up was the fact that now the armorers pretty much have to buy their own weapons and keep them, and they're mostly airsoft.
Mhm.
So, yeah, the Finns kept messing up the Soviets in the trees.
well, biathlon. That's where the biathlon's from.
Yeah.
The ski shoot a Nazi,
Yeah.
ski shoot a commie.
Yeah.
Biathlon.
It's much more fun with a 7.62 though,
Point.
and weighed 11 pounds, not 32 ounces.
Yeah, when the modern pentathlon first started, you had to shoot the pistol portion.
Yeah.
With the the military issue sidearm.
Yeah.
And then you had to. The fencing was on sabers. Now it's not. It's the fencing's done with a pace.
Yeah.
And Patton was actually a modern pentathlon competitor in 19-something Olympics, and he probably should have won it.
Yeah.
But they couldn't believe that more than one round from his 1911 went through the same hole.
Yeah.
Because rattle. So they marked. He shot 5 rounds or 3 holes in target. They marked his 2 misses.
Yeah.
So he decided after that he was gonna do pentathlon with tanks.
Yeah. Move it up a notch.
Count the holes now.
Well, I would if I could find a target. Oh, targets. Oh, God.
I'm so
That
I'm
does
so tired,
remind me
I
of a funny target story. Oh, there is a range in Florida called Pine Castle that's used for bombing and other assorted things. And there's also a lake on it with a target in the water.
Okay.
And we got sent down there to do a drop on the target in the water. So it's about 30-minute flight for P3 down there. So we go trucking down there, go in, roll in over the target, and there's a boat tied up to the target, and they're fishing.
Yep.
And we come over, and they're shaking their fist at us.
Don't disturb the fish.
Yeah, it's like, that's interesting. So I call range control. I said, hey, there's a fishing boat tied up to the target. You get back this, well, crap. We don't have a boat available to run them off. Can y'all run them off?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes. So we came back around at 200 feet and blew over the top of them and get the shake your fist again. And my pilot and I kind of had a conversation off ICS so it wouldn't be recorded, and might have said one more time with the bomb bay doors open so they can see something hanging there. And we came back around on a 200-foot pass.
Attack run.
The bomb bay doors came open. See the guy start to shake his fist, and the other guy starts paddling because he could see up into the bomb bay at that point. So the second guy is back there frantically trying to start the motor. And they got the motor started and disappeared into the sunset. So we came back around and made another pass and happened to center punch the target, which was actually kind of luck, which pissed off the range control because that was a brand new target they had just finished building.
Oh, poor Eccles.
So sure enough, about a day later, Skipper calls us in the office. Goes, we have a complaint from 2 civilians down at Pine Castle
Oh,
about how y'all dropped a weapon on them.
I'm sure there are no holes in our inventory, sir.
Yeah. Sir, talk to range control. We did not drop a weapon on them.
Wanted to.
We might have simulated a weapon, and they might have been a tad worried about what might have happened, and that might have been why they left. Yeah, that was a fun day.
The going back to modern pentathlon.
Yeah.
It has been a part of every Olympic Games since the start. It was one of the original Olympic sports, and the Olympic Committee has hated it. The Modern Olympic Committee has hated modern pentathlon. They hate the shooting sports, period. They really hate modern pentathlon. There are a limited number of countries that treat the modern pentathlon the way we treat football.
Yeah.
The rest of the world, that's how many Americans have watched modern pentathlon on? Mainly because CBS shows it 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
Or NBC or what the fuck ever. but they're using every excuse they can to start chipping away at modern pentathlon. The the latest one is part of modern pentathlon is you have to ride an unknown horse. The modern pentathlon simulates a military courier getting through lines to deliver a message. So you have to ride an unknown horse through a course. Well, with the concomitant problems. Well, this last pentathlon games, the favored Swedish in the women's pentathlon, her horse didn't like her. So she got a 0 and no way. So she went out of from medal condition to bottom of and the Olympic Committee pitched a fit. They pitched a fit, and they're talking about replacing horses with bicycles.
Yeah.
Prior to that, the one before that, when I stopped watching, was when they combined the cross country run with the pistol.
Yeah. Well,
So you run cross country for X number of meters, you shoot a laser gun, then you run another X number of meters and shoot a laser gun, and it's not the way pentathlon's done.
Well, and it's the same thing with the shooting sports in the Olympics.
Yeah.
The pistol, the rifle.
Shotgun. What's that lady shotgunner that's gotten 14 medals?
Oh, if you hadn't said that, I would know her name. Kim Rode.
Yeah. Okay. She's tied Flipper Guy
Yeah.
for medals. Everybody knows, except me apparently, Flipper Guy, the swimmer.
Michael Phelps.
Yeah, Phelps.
Yeah.
Everybody knows him and all his medals. And oh my God, he's won all these medals. Here's Kim Rhodes off the side with the same number of medals in arguably a more difficult sport.
And zero recognition. And none of the shooting events are held at the Olympic facility.
Horses.
Yeah.
Cross country skiing, yes. I mean, Finns go, but that's no. It's
Not shooting differs. It's a friggin' lightweight 22.
It's you ride the horse, then you when you're done with the horse, you have a ranking. Then you do the shooting. When you're shooting, you have a ranking. Then you have the swimming, and you have a ranking. And then you do the fencing, and you have a ranking. And then you run. That's the pentathlon. The rest is bullshit to make it more inclusive and friendly is bullshit.
Flipper Guy is a puff exempt deep one.
No kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, his body shape is odd, to put it mildly.
I chalk that up to gallon bags of marijuana he smokes on a daily basis.
Yeah.
His upper torso is like 2 inches longer than the average.
Yeah.
And the runner with the most medals, his legs are 2 inches longer than the average. Everything else is completely average.
Yeah.
It's just like that one bit of anatomy is interesting.
Yes, they didn't used to, but currently I like that change, making all 5 events in one day.
Yeah.
I like that change. That was a good change. Doing it over a 5-day period was stupid.
Yeah, Padre agreed. Yeah.
I was actually I sent in. I had a membership for the International Modern Pentathlon. I never competed, but I had a membership in it. And I said, just lock it down to 32 Smith & Wesson.
Yeah.
Walther makes a great 32 Smith & Wesson competition pistol. It actually fulfills, and don't worry about it.
I'd
Air
rather
guns. Air guns.
Do it with friggin' 9mm.
Yeah, 9mm.
Yeah.
Well,
or
some
actually
countries-
a 45.
And some countries can't train. Their pentathletes wouldn't be able to train because it's a military.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So 32 ACP or 32 Smith & Wesson, go. The drinking component. That would be the pool.
Yeah. Yeah, Kermit, that was actually what it used to be, was the Olympic rifle shooting was the military issue rifle of the home country. So they had to shoot what they brought.
Later, Tom.
Have fun, man.
Guns are bad. He's exactly right.
Yeah.
Because they're stupid enough to ban guns.
Have Ronnie Barrett become this main sponsor.
One of the more interesting conversations I wound up on in Imaginarium was a young lady that Imaginarium is not very woke. There are some woke people there, but it ain't very woke.
Yeah.
And she was holding forth about the stupidity of the government's overreaction to COVID. And somebody asked her, well, why didn't, they had a chance. Why didn't they go any further? And she said, because of the Second Amendment. She said, I hate guns, but I
Yeah.
love the Second Amendment. It's like, wow.
Tom, whatever the France would use would only have been dropped once.
It would be jamming.
Yeah. Yeah, the UK actually has to go outside of Canada to train,
Uh-huh.
or outside of the Britain train. At one point, they were training in Canada.
A lot of Olympic firearms competitions have to train somewhere else.
Yeah. A lot of them are now coming to the States to train, which
Yep.
is interesting.
Yeah, I think Australia is. They're sending
Their teams are coming up here.
coming
Yeah.
to the States.
Yeah, the Army, actually, AMU actually opened up their facilities. I want to say in 2015 or 2016, and they had 13 or 14 countries show up to do training.
Yep.
And you get a lot of cross pollination too. It's like the sniper competition, the international sniper competitions. They're basically run out of AMU because they have the facilities down there to do the matches.
Mhm.
But there are some quote unquote private matches in various places that get rather interesting.
Bear can matches.
Well, there's one called the Cousins match up in West Virginia that's just flat weird.
West Virginia, anything involving cousins is gonna be weird. That's all I'm saying.
The technicality is the shooter and spotter are supposed to be related. It's a technicality. So you do get professional shooters that show up from
Uncle Daddy Bobby, where was that round?
from various countries. But it's all unknown distance. And there was one stage where you're shooting through a door at the top of a ridge with a window.
Damn revenuers.
And you had to shoot through the door.
Uh-huh. Damn revenuers.
But those stages are very interesting. And another one was the shoot the dot. And there was a board with these colored dots on it about 2 inches around.
Oh, I hate those competitions.
Well, not only there were ones with a regular 2-inch dot,
Uh-huh.
and then there were ones with a splotch of color with a 2-inch dot inside of it.
I hate those.
And both the shooter and the spotter had to shoot. And you had to carry every bit of ammunition you were planning on using the entire day with you.
That should be required.
Yeah.
I hate there's something that's, I say, last maybe 20 years that's shown up on shooting matches is colored shapes.
Oh, yeah.
I hate those. I really hate those. When they say shoot the square.
Yeah.
They'll say, shoot the yellow, shoot the red, shoot the purple, shoot the square.
Yeah.
And everybody goes, wait a minute, and recalibrates their brain. I hate that.
Well, IDPA, we used to do shoot the card.
Right.
And there were 4 cards, and you rolled over the card. And that was what you shot.
Then you had to find that card down right.
Then you had to find the card,
Yep.
which is really good in a low-light environment. You're going, the fucking
Oh, God damn.
that one's black. Is that it? Yeah, shit, shoot it. Numbered colored shapes, yeah. As a matter of fact, Carlton, that was one of the short stories in the Gray Man series. A really fun shoot.
I will say, of all of the Imaginarium didn't know us from Adams Off Hawks. They knew Jim, which shouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
They knew Jim. They liked Imaginarium liked Jim's books because at the out on the Westerns panel, it turned into what is a Western. and really good panel. And so some of the audience, does J.L. Curtis's Gray Man series count as a Western? And it's like, yes.
Figures one panel I didn't go to. It would have been a positive.
Yeah, that's some guy in the back with an accent. J.L. Curtis's. Like, yep, Hillbilly went, funny you should mention that. You had already left, or we would have gone and found you because he really wanted an autograph.
Oh, sorry. Well, there were autographed ones at the table.
You know J.L. Curtis? Yes.
6 Degrees of Jim Curtis.
6 Degrees of Jim Curtis.
Oh, yeah. Andy, Rimworld, all of them are Westerns.
Jim writes Westerns. He just dresses them up pretty, but they're Westerns.
You know, if you really think about it, Shakespeare wrote Westerns.
Well, we drilled down and defined what a Western was, and then it took off from there. Using the definition, which was simple, elegant, simple plot with definite good guys, bad guys, where the good guys are bringing law to a lawless area. Or that was our what we finally decided was defined a Western.
Yeah, actually, I just started the third in the Bell Chronicle series, which is an 1870s Western.
Louis Curtis. Yes.
I did get asked why, on the podcast, why I chose 1870s for that. And yeah, I write curmudgeons because I are one.
No.
But I didn't want to start with the Civil War because
Overdone.
that's been so overdone. It's like what I did with the Gray Man series. Everybody wanted me to write something about where Cronin had came from, and he was Special Forces in Vietnam. I'm not going to write that. That's been done to death. So I wrote, based on a friend of mine's experiences as a DEA agent when they were newly formed down in Central America. So I'm taking the same tact with the Seven Samurais became Magnificent Seven. Yes. So I'm taking the same tact with the Bell Chronicles and starting at the beginning of the cowboy era, if you will, which really only ran about 20 years. And that was another interesting thing that we got talking about Friday night was holsters. The holsters that you see in most of the Westerns
Completely wrong.
did not exist until 1920.
Yep.
They're called Buscadero rigs,
That's the difference.
and they were actually invented in Mexico.
Okay.
In the 1870s, most of the people, if they wore a holster, wore a cut down Civil War holster, flap holster with a flap cut off. And they did not load all the cylinders.
Oh no. No.
Well, that's again one of those misconceptions that's out there. Well, it's a 6-shooter, so they loaded 6. No.
Five peas in a pod.
Yeah.
That was the same. It was 5 peas in the pod.
Because if you got bucked off or if you dropped the pistol, there was no transfer bar in it. There was a pointy thing called a hammer
The firing pin sat on the firing pin.
set on the primer.
Primer.
So if you dropped that pistol, odds are it was going to go off.
Mhm.
And that's the Colt legend, which started with the original single actions, was load 1, skip 1, load 4.
That's how you load them.
Yeah, because that
Put the empty cylinder, the empty chamber under the hammer,
exactly put the empty chamber under the hammer.
and the carry method of choice for most of the Old West gunfighters, especially in Texas, was leather lined pocket in their pants.
Yeah. And that's why most of them got cut down from 7 inches to 4 or 5 inches. But they would literally take a either right or left hand pocket, depending on whether they were right or left handed.
Have somebody line it with leather.
And that's where they carried the pistol.
Mm-hmm.
And also, they didn't have the nicky neat little pig and string loops to go over the hammer. So you had to be careful when you got on and off the horse. Because if you cocked a leg up high, pistol would fall out. You shoot the horse in that belly, the horse tends to get a tad pissed.
He will stumble.
Yeah.
Bad.
And if you got bucked off, again, you lose the pistol. So, we discussed a good bit of that. But, the only time they would ever load 6 is if they knew they were getting ready to get in a gunfight.
Or in the middle of gunfight, and they ran out of ammo. And they didn't have a New York reload.
Because in actuality, the reason that the single action became the designated weapon for the Army was the fact I've heard that, Kermit. Single action was designed for a left-hander. Single action, it takes 2 hands to unload it. The Smith, the number 3, top brake, was actually easier to use,
Easier to reload.
easier to load, and a cavalryman could do it on a horse.
Well,
Right.
The Merwin Holbert. Okay, folks. How many people understand that the top 3 pistols in the Old West?
Yeah.
Colt, Smith & Wesson, Merwin, Holbert.
Yeah.
With Adams and somebody else running, Fosbury, I think, running.
Yeah, Fosbury was the other one.
But the Merwin Holbert was a brilliant design.
Yeah.
Which was the only one that would eject only empties and would retain unfired rounds. And it was a simple, elegant design. It just required a lot of handcrafting.
But the reason that the Colt became the gun of choice was for one very odd reason: the ammunition. Because the Smith & Wesson number 3 took Smith & Wesson ammunition. The Colt took Colt ammunition. They were both in 45. However, the Colt ammunition was longer by roughly 1/8 of an inch and would not fit in a Smith.
Smith ammo, however,
Would fit in a Colt. And we've wasted another hour of your time, folks.
hour and 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And we started
So
early.
we're going to quit.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Sure. 31 people on, 17 likes. So yeah, we screwed up today. Sorry about that, folks. Go have a nap. Yeah. Sam didn't have better kickbacks. He just got when they didn't specify the ammo that they shipped. So people with Smiths were getting Colt ammo, which they couldn't use. So they just said, screw it, go Colt, and be done with it. Anyway, folks, y'all have a good week. We will be here Thursday. God willing, and the creek don't rise. And remember, don't sweat the petty
We
stuff.
actually might be hydrated,
Yeah. Don't
rested, and maybe not quite so. I've lost a word. Moving on.
Don't sweat the petty stuff. Don't pet the sweaty stuff. And we'll see you on Thursday.
Are
Bye,
you hungry?
folks.
Are you hungry?